This audio presentation of How to Turn Your Desires and Ideals into Reality by Landone is brought to you by audioenlightenment.com. Copyright 2017. All rights reserved. Preface. The Man Who Worked Out the Process. It is unusual, I assume, for a businessman to accept the obligation of writing a foreword to a book of idealism, and any attempt on my part to add to its spiritual content would be vain assumption. But since I know of the phenomenal results of idealizing the process, I can perhaps give some measure of faith and hope to those who have not always succeeded, and who now doubt the possibility of making their ideals become realities. My certainty of the results of this process bases itself upon many years' personal contact with the attainments of Landone, upon my own individual and business success in using the process, and upon my intimate acquaintance with many executives who have with this aid made their ideals come true. Some of these ideals have been of the higher things of life, some of the more mundane affairs, such as increasing one's salary from $2,000 or $3,000 a year to $1,000 a month or more by a few weeks' use of this process. Landone, the man, like all of us, has his individual habits and hobbies known only to intimate friends. For instance, he never reads anything idealistic immediately before going to sleep. If I do, he says, my mind reacts and I have unpleasant dreams. But if I read something weird, my soul reacts and I live the night in a state of high spiritual consciousness. Then there is the passion of cleaning up things. Today, this is most annoying to some of the intimate friends whom he visits, for no sooner is he in the home than he makes for the basement or attic to satisfy his soul's desire to make things clean. It is a passion with him. It was born in him. As a child, he would clean up his playroom rather than play with his toys. When but 5 years old, he became so angry because the servants would not let him mop the kitchen floor that he ran away from home. Although handicapped in childhood and youth with what most of us consider insurmountable physical handicaps, yet he has lived long, worked much, and retains enduring vitality. Those in whose time he first worked, Helen Willems, Dr. Adams, Mrs. Eddy, Dr. Stockholm, and others, have long since passed into the greater life. Yet today, I know from years of association, he often works 20 hours out of 24 and finds life and the work a joy because he loves both. You and I may not wish to work thus, yet it gives one great consciousness of power to know that someone has attained such spiritual contact with life that is able to do so. His recreation is painting. After a day's work, usually from 18 to 20 hours, he paints to rest himself before going to sleep. He paints at such times with phenomenal rapidity. He has worked much, and all he does done or written is original. In point of fact, he has done so many original things that many find it difficult to keep track of his work. More than 20 years ago, he wrote The Value of Vitamins, now being accepted by the medical profession. A generation ago, he proved the solar plexus to be a brain by itself, a statement then ridiculed by biologists but now accepted. 17 years ago, he discovered that tone is most resonantly projected on the parabolic curve, and it is just now being used by engineers to secure valuable patents. Within this decade, he has formulated a new science of sociology which conservative French thinkers have called epoch-making. He was the first man to work out a new science of the art unifying the basic principle of music, literature, painting, scripture, and architecture, to work out neural reaction, and to prove that new brain structure can be developed by conscious functioning, just as Burbank proved that new plant structures can be developed. In this book, one thought deserves more than passing mention. During the centuries, philosophers have sought the basis of the soul's faith in the unity of all things. Clearly to present the basis of unity is now, I know, Landone's one great life aim. He may or may not succeed in making the world conscious of this unity, but at least the attempt in the spirit of matter comes near us, making us know that the spiritual and material world are one than anything previously written. With such a consciousness of unity of all things of spirit and matter, the faith is strong and the way is clear to make our ideals come true. Edgar H. Felix, New York City, June 1922. Chapter 1. What desire can you make come true? Every desire is the heart of some ideal. Your desires always come true. Your wishes seldom do. They die by consuming themselves and forever wishing wishes. A desire with a body or an ideal with the heart always becomes a reality. Every desire is the heart center of some ideal, that is either revealed to consciousness and understood or hidden in the ultra-consciousness and misunderstood. The ideal is the active body of the desire. Do not expect your desire to come true unless you give it a body. Construct an ideal that gives substance to each desire. Make the ideal active. Endow it with the process of attainment. Then it will become a reality. It will come true. But an idea is not an ideal. This is where your trouble often lies. Only a few, a very, very few of your ideas ever come true, and very, very few of your thoughts and plans ever materialize if they are made up of ideas instead of ideals. An ideal always manifests itself in action and becomes a reality. Unless it does so, it is not an ideal. In using the term ideal, I am not conceiving any particular meaning of the word to fit my own philosophy. I am using the word as it is made definite by all dictionaries of the English language. That is, that an ideal is a perfect image in the mind. An ideal differs from an idea. An idea is an image in the mind. An ideal is a perfect image in the mind. Every idea or ideal is composite. It is made up of parts. Your idea of an orange includes, among a score of images, certain images of color, for you know it is not black, certain images of size, for you know an orange is not as small as a pinhead or as large as a watermelon, certain images of odor, it does not smell like an onion, and certain images of taste, for it does not taste like carrots or potatoes, pickles, or chili sauce. An idea is imperfect because it lacks mind images which it should include, and because it includes images which should not be included. Your idea of a certain person is imperfect because your idea of them does not include all the imagined qualities a perfect human should possess and includes imagined qualities that the perfect human should not manifest. But your perfect ideal of a person includes all of those qualities that such a person should possess and none of those which they should not manifest. An idea is not perfect. It is but a partial image, and lacking that something which is essential, seldom comes true. Usually the element of idea lacks is the very element that, if the idea possessed it, would make the idea manifest as a reality. Differing from an ideal is a perfect image in the mind. It includes all the component parts that it should include, and it includes nothing that it should not include. Thus, in content and substance, it is perfect. Ideals are the substance of things that come true. Ideas are but mental skeletons. They are without heart and body. They have no desire, no ideal. Desire may be related to an idea or it may not. It is never a part of it. That is one of the elements an idea lacks. An ideal always has a heart of desire. That is one of the reasons why ideals come true. Mere ideas do not thrill the soul, urging and forcing man to action. Ideals, surging with desire and impelling to action, lead man to live, serve, sacrifice, and die that his ideals may be made manifest as realities. Your ideas seldom materialize. They lack desire and impulse to action. Ideals always come true. Change your ideas into ideals, and they will become realities. It is easy for you to do as soon as you know what is the idea lacking. Thoughts formed of ideals become realities, as surely as though they were conceived directly by God Himself. Which of your ideals can you make come true? Not one of them if they exist only as desire, for desire is but the soul's impulse to become real. But give a desire a spiritual body, that is, embody it in an ideal, and it will always come true, for ideals are substance of things that are. Chapter 2. Can you yourself make your ideals become reality? Some of you are endowed with faith, and some beset with doubt. Of those endowed with faith based upon spiritual knowledge, there is not one whose faith is not weakened a little by trifling doubt. Of those beset with the darkest of doubts, there is not one whose doubt is not enlightened a little by a touch of faith. When I state that ideals come true, none of you deny it or think of denying it. But when I assure you that every ideal always comes true, and that every one of your own particular ideals can be changed to a material reality, my statement contrasts so astoundingly with your past experience of having tried faithfully to attain that which you desire, that some of you feel that it cannot be true. Some of you may doubt even my common sense in making such an assertion. You who doubt that every ideal comes true, doubt sincerely. Doubt because of common sense judgment based upon your present knowledge. No matter what the cause, doubt interferes with your realization of your ideals. It dampens the fire of desire and lessens your effort to attain that which you wish because you think the effort is useless. I do not wish you to accept any statement. I wish you to know truth. Do not change from doubt to blind belief. It will do you no permanent good. Blind faith soon dies. But what are the ideas in your mind that make you doubt? First, mistaking ideas for ideals. Second, your idea of the density of matter. Third, your idea of the solidity of matter. Fourth, your idea of matter as motionless and lifeless. Fifth, your present incomplete knowledge of the process of making ideals become reality. These are the only serious cause of doubt, 5 stones in the path of faith and attainment. I shall not, in succeeding chapters, give them more attention than they deserve, but just enough to remove them. By and large, your doubt is based upon the seeming impossibility of etheric images of the mind being able easily to change, reform, and recreate the substance of matter that is seemingly so dense, solid, and lifeless. If you could know that matter is not so dense as it seems, not so solid as it appears, not so lifeless as it is assumed to be, if you could know these things, then doubt would be faith, and faith would be divinely certain, forever lasting and ever impelling to action. Most of your trouble then relates to your idea of the nature of matter, its substance and attributes. In what follows, I shall not be so silly as to assert that matter does not exist, that is a mere claim of matter, or that it is an illusion. If I should assert that matter is non-existence, you could laugh at me unjustly, for I am so conscious of the existence of matter that I find it necessary to have a house in which to live, a bed in which to sleep, clothes to wear, and food to eat. If I should assert that matter is a mere claim of being matter, I would corner myself when people owe me money, and I am not content with the claim. I prefer the money itself. If I should state that matter is an illusion of the mind, you could, knowing the certainty of the law that only like perceives like, smile to yourself over the idea that nothing but an illusionary mind could conceive an illusionary world, eat illusionary vegetables, wear illusionary shirts, handle illusionary money, use and depend upon 10,000 illusionary things, and live upon an illusionary earth. I hold that matter is existent, and that it is very unwise and detrimental to deny its existence and attempt to live up to a denial. For instance, to deny the existence of material food and try to live without it. But I hold also that it is a lack of knowledge of the true nature of matter that makes us think of it as dense, solid, motionless, and lifeless. If in our greater knowledge of matter we find that it is only energy in reality, that it is not restricted energy but infinite energy, and that it is of the same substance as spirit, then our concept of matter becomes so like our concept of the substance of which ideals are made, that it is possible for us to perceive some definite connection, a real relation, perhaps a similarity, perhaps even a coexistence of the substance of every ideal and the substance of every material reality. With such knowledge, found in next succeeding chapters, our faith that ideals come true, because they are of the same substance of matter, can be and is justified. Such faith will free anew our ideals and desires, and impel us to cease no effort until they become realities. And with knowledge of the process of attainment, we shall know by experience that it is not so difficult as it once seemed. And you yourself can make your ideals become realities. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Ideals are the substance of the things that are. Chapter 3. What compactness of matter gives to your ideals. Your ideas are always changing, and you are ever changing your attitude regarding them. Why? They have no form, no body of spiritual substance. Being without body, they are notions, and very changeable notions at that. But you are loyal to your ideas. You are steadfast in your allegiance to them. Why? Because there is something fixed and real about them. They are made of spiritual substance. They are the actual bodies of your desire, of your highest ideals. You say they are fixed as the stars, by which you mean that they are made of substance that is eternal. You hold steadfastly to your ideals. But since ideals are of the spiritual and etheric substance, can you easily change them into material actualities? Make them manifest in a world of matter which appears so compact and dense. This idea that matter is compact and hence dense is one of the stones in the path of faith. As an idea, it prevents you from making sufficient effort to make your ideals come true. When you study matter as it is, as the great physical scientists now know it, and when you find that which is called density is but the compactness of materiality, empty space, etheric substance, spiritual substance, does it not open up new visions? Already you perceive that if so-called density of matter is but compactness of etheric substance, that which makes density possible is similar to and coexistent with the very substance in which ideals exist and of which they are made. All of which suggests that which appears to us as density is of aid in giving substance to ideals, in giving them bodies so they can come true. What is density of matter? If matter is dense, it must be compact, for the idea of density depends upon the idea of compactness. Is matter a compact substance? Read carefully and think, for this, to you, is vital. It means either that you can and will make your ideals come true, or that you will slip through life forever wishing that you might have done so. Matter, we say, employing terms in general use, is made up of masses of minute particles, each particle of millions of molecules, each molecule of atoms, and each atom from hundreds of thousands to millions of electrons. There is but one form of structure in the universe. The universe is the universe, the creation of one law. The moon is 2,000 miles in diameter, but it is 240,000 miles away from Earth. 2 units of matter, 240 units of etheric space. Our Earth is 8,000 miles in diameter, but it is 93,000 miles from the Sun. 8 units of matter, 93,000 units of etheric space. The Sun's diameter is less than 1 million miles, but its nearest star neighbor is more than 25,000 million miles away. 1 unit of matter, 25,000 units of etheric space. The materially empty etheric space distance between any two heavenly bodies is infinitely greater than the size of either. Thus it is throughout the universe. Thus it is throughout matter. The material emptiness of the universe is a true indication of the so-called density of matter. What is the density of the molecule? A molecule is composed of atoms infinitely smaller than itself. Its atoms, however, are not close together. It is no more compact nor dense than the space of the heavens. What is a molecule? Imagine the sun. Imagine the earth, Mars, Mercury, the other planets and their moons, all whirling and circling around the sun's center to form our solar system. The system is a gigantic sphere. Of what? Of nothing but etheric space. There is no shell to the sphere. It is just ether, conceived as a globe, within which whirl a few comparatively small specks of dust, the earth, the sun, for instance. Look up in the air above you. Imagine the outline of a toy balloon without any material except a few specks of invisible dust in the space you imagine as a globe. That is the density of the universe. It is also as dense as the molecule that is merely an etheric globular space in which atoms far, far apart whirl around an etheric center. Is not the density of matter already evaporating, so that in it you see no hindrance to making your ideals into realities? If not the molecule, is the atom dense? The atom, like the molecule, has no shell or body. It is merely a spherical system of ether space in which electrons whirl around an etheric center. So far nothing but infinite space and infinite energy in space. In such, what hindrance is there to your ideals and desires coming true? Is it then the electrons that give matter its appearance of density? Of course, if the electron were itself of good size and of its own substance were compact, it would give to matter some semblance of material density. What is the size of an electron? Out of paper, cut a square-inch surface. Then imagine a tiny paper bag the size of a cubic inch. If this cubic inch box were filled with any one of several different gases, the space would contain approximately 441, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000, 000 molecules. They are very far apart. Hence there is plenty of room in this cubic inch for 1,000,000 times the number already given. Since each of these molecules is composed of atoms, each atom must be definitely smaller than the molecule. Since in an atom there are millions of electrons with comparatively great intervening spaces capable of holding millions more. How small, then, is the electron? You cannot conceive its infinite minuteness, for, although each atom is but 1/100th of 1/1,000,000th of 1 inch in diameter, the electron is 50,000 times smaller than the atom. Of course, you cannot imagine this. It is infinitely small, a part of the infinity of God. And what is the electron? Of what substance is it? All scientists agree that it is an infinitely small etheric whirl of energy, a whirling hole in space. What then is density? Density is the spirit of matter, the infinite etheric energy space of God. It is that in which all things live and move and have their being. It exists between the infinitely small whirling electrons but 1/1000th of an inch from one another. It exists between whirling stars and infinitely large suns thousands of millions of miles apart. There is no density of matter to hinder the manifestation of your ideals and desire. Since your ideals and desires are of God, and since the cells of your body and also the substance of all other material actualities are but the infinite energy space of God, certainly your ideals composed of this substance, the only substance that exists, can and will and do come true. In fact, this etheric energy space substance, which makes matter seem to be dense, is the very substance that gives body to your ideals and thus makes them manifest in material actuality. Chapter 4. What attractive matter of energy gives to your desires? Another stone in the path of faith and the attainment of your ideals and desires is the idea that matter is solid. As density was found to be but infinite energy space, the spiritual substance in which ideals and all things exist, what will solidity turn out to be when you come to know it as it is? Iron seems to be a very solid substance and very hard. Does its hardness reside in matter, or is it due to the spirit of energy of matter? The molecules and atoms of iron are no harder or more solid than the molecules and atoms of butter, yet it is difficult to drive a nail into a piece of iron and easy to drive one into a chunk of butter. That which makes it difficult to drive a nail into iron is the degree of attractive force existing between the particles. It is this force that holds molecules and their respective atoms to each other. When you drive a nail into iron, what you overcome is the attractive force that tries to prevent the molecules being pushed apart. It is easy to force apart the molecules of butter to make space for a nail. In this case also, what you overcome is the attractive force that holds together the molecules and atoms of butter. When the degree of attractive force is comparatively great, we say that matter is hard and solid. When it is smaller, we say that matter is not hard and not so solid. But it is not matter itself that is solid or not solid. In truth, solidity is but the spirit of matter. It is another manifestation, the infinite attractive energy found throughout the universe. It is as infinite as God. Matter is not solid. There's only one solid thing in the universe, the infinite attractive energy of God which holds all things together. Your ideals are of spirit. If you wish to change any part of your body, know that it is no more solid than the heavens. Know that that which makes it appear solid and holds the tiny center of force together is but infinite attractive spirit, that this attractive spirit of energy is of God and is infinite. Your soul, with its mind, love, and life forces, is also of God. Being direct of God, made in His image, you are supreme. Being supreme, your soul controls its ideals and their actualities. Do not deny evil. That which we call evil exists. But when you know its real nature, you find it is good. The solidity, which you feared as an evil hindrance to the manifestation of your desire and ideals, is infinite attractive spirit. The very force that gives your desires the power to attract all that is necessary to make them come true. Chapter 5. What movement in matter gives to your body of desire. Ideals are of the substance of spirit and space. They have motion and life. Can they, then, manifest in matter if it be motionless and lifeless? That which lives has motion of itself and within itself. That which has such motion is not dead. All atoms are reservoirs of limitless energy. I use radium for illustration only because you have heard of it and you know it. A grain of radium is a very small particle. It is less than 1/400th of 1 little ounce of matter. Yet during every single second of time, a grain of radium gives off 2,000 impulses of energy. Is this energy of the spirit? If it is of spirit, it is enduring. Man's body sustained by the energy of the soul may last 100 years. How long does atomic energy last? After 1/400th part of an ounce of radium has given off 2,000 impulses of energy every second, of every hour, of every day, for 1,700 years, it has used up but part of its energy, and has enough left to continue the process at the same rate for 1,700 years more, and then at a slower rate to continue forever. Spirit energy has power, has atomic energy power. If we knew how to free at one time all the energy of but 1 ounce of radium, its freed energy could toss all the navies of the world from the Mid-Atlantic to the Mississippi Valley. What infinite energy there is in every atom of so-called matter! This energy is not dead matter. It is infinite energy of God in every atom. All so-called matter is alive. It is alive with energy. It is God in manifestation, and it moves. It moves within itself. An airplane flying 660 miles an hour would make us gasp. The earth whirls around the sun with incredible speed, 66,000 miles an hour. But a freed electron whizzes through the space at the rate of 660 million miles an hour. And such an electron can change its position 40 million times when they are saying, 1, every cell of your body is composed of billions of electrons pulsating and throbbing with energy and life. Every material of your body, brain, muscle, heart, and bone is composed of billions of cells. How many only the Creator knows, and every one of these cells is a gigantic and colossal universe of atoms of titanic force and electrons of infinite energy. Their energy waits for your soul to use it. Whatever part of your body you wish to change can be changed, for matter is neither dense, nor solid, nor motionless, nor lifeless. The same electrons, these same whirling centers of infinite energy, compose every form of matter: wood and all things made of wood, iron and all things of iron, brass and gold, materials of all kind, everything you can see and touch, and all other things. The substance of all things, ideals and realities, is ever the same. All are God. Ideals can come true. All things can be changed, for the density of matter is but infinite energy space. The substance of all things, the solidity of matter, is but the infinite attractive force of God, and matter has motion and life, moving at a tremendous rate responsive to the supreme energy of the soul, mind, love, and life. Can anyone, Now knowing that the particles of seemingly motionless matter can move at a rate of 660 million miles an hour and can change position 40 million times in a second, doubt that it is this infinite energy of God in all things that gives to ideals the possibility of manifesting as material actualities. Matter so throbbing with energy and movement cannot hinder your ideals coming true, but your idea of matter as dense, solid, and motionless can hinder them by deadening your desire and lessening your effort. Change your idea of matter to a true ideal of matter, for desires embodied in ideals, in bodies of etheric substance possessing infinite energy, always come true. You cannot prevent them more than you can stop the whizzing of electrons or the whirling of stars.